Hey guys, it's your boy Wolfie. Today the patch just dropped. The Ninja Turtle Battle Pass finally came out, which is amazing for those efficiency spenders who are trying to get the most bang for their buck. This Battle Pass has a lot of skins, there's other things added onto it. It's awesome. The skins are also really high quality. I like them a lot. Splinter and Shredder come from a chest though. They're a little bit harder to get, so if you can get them, awesome. If you can't, that sucks, but it is what it is, right? Along with this patch, we got the ranked reset, which is a soft reset. What we're gonna go over for this video is how this is going to affect you, whether it's gonna be you're a casual player, a try-hard, poop sock, sweaty player like me, or someone kind of in between. I'm also gonna try to answer as many questions that usually get asked for me on stream, all right? Hey guys, before we get to the video, I would like to thank you guys very much for watching. If you guys are enjoying the content, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, smash that like button, and drop a comment. I love reading them and I respond as much as I can. If you would like a more live response, feel free to stop by my stream, which I stream 6 days a week between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Eastern. And if you'd rather not post there because you like to be a lurker, which is perfectly fine, feel free to @me on Twitter. I respond to those too. You guys have been fantastic. Thank you for the support. Before I get into this video, and even if this video gets a little bit heated, I just want to point this out. I do not approve or support any kind of hate messages, rage against the developers, death threats, or any shape or form of how they are. This video isn't for you to go on and hate on Ajax or anyone else in the development community. This is not for that. Do not do that in my name because you saw this video. Do not do that, period. It is stupid. Please don't do that. That is not what we're doing. When I'm talking about these topics and I get frustrated off of them, it's because I care about the growth of the game and where it goes. That's what these videos are for. It's not to start a hate mob. All right? I shouldn't have to bring that up, but I feel like I have to. So I'm going to say it again. I do not support any of that kind of aggression towards developers as a result of this video. Do not do that. Thank you. All right, for those of you who know me, y'all know I'm a sweaty, disgusting nerd tryhard that plays way too many rank games. It's disgusting. And for those of you who don't know me and you require a little more credibility before listening to me on the subject, I have literally the most ranked games played out of any player in this game. I have well over 16,000 games played, and I have well over 8,000 hours spent in game, not counting sitting in queue. If you want to know about my skill level, I am an ex-pro from the earlier season of Smite. I am nowhere near as good as the pros these days. Long story short, I kind of suck now, but I kind of stream for you guys' entertainment so you guys can laugh at me do stupid plays. That's what it is. That's where I'm at. Cool. Now you guys understand. All right, so what basically happened today is we had something called a soft reset. And a soft reset's goal is to take the higher end players and bring them down, and the lower end players and bring them up, to close the gap between the top end and the bottom end. Basically, if you're above 2550, you got brought down to around 2550. And if you were below 1500, which I believe is the number, I don't know because I'm not that low, will be brought up to 1500. Now, it's good for both parties. The bottom end gets a second chance at life, basically, and the top end gets to poop socks some more and grind back up to their respective 3.5k MMRs. You know what I'm saying? They're disgusting, and everybody in between kind of just stays the same where they were before. From what I understand, that's how it was before. You're not really going to move on that. But what is going to happen for everyone is their divisions are going to reset based on where you are. If you were above 2500, you got brought back to Platinum 3. I'm pretty sure anyone under 2500 kind of got brought to a different place, and everyone under 1500 got brought to a different place. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. I don't know where everyone got placed. If you guys have experience from being under 2500 or being under 1500, please let me know in the comments. More data is always welcome. Or you can say it on my chat or on Twitter or whatever. It all works. Let me know. I would love to see more data. But yeah, so what that basically is, it's just gonna give people an opportunity to regrind and either prove where they belong or drop back to the salt mines again, whatever it may be. Now, what also happens when a soft reset happens is, at least in Smite, we get something called variance. And variance is basically going to increase your gain of MMR and TP at the beginning of the season. This is basically a fast track to get you to where you belong. And when I say first couple games, it's not couple games. It's like 50 to 100 games. It's a lot before you drop down to 5%, which is the standard. It's a lot, right? So it's not just going to be like you lost 5 games and you're stuck in a bracket. You have to go on a serious loss streak to be in the depths of the salt mines. I don't want to say Elo Hell because Elo Hell doesn't exist. We're going to call it the salt mines because we're always salty when we lose, and we don't like being salty, right? So we're going to call it the salt mines. All right, cool. Yeah, so what this is going to do is it's going to create a lot of situations where people are going to get angry and frustrated because they're either losing too much TP or they're really happy because they're getting a lot of TP. The purpose for it, which is coming from developers, is to break out of where you were before, to give people a sense of possibility of going higher in the brackets rather than being stuck. Now, for the record, there's no such thing as Elo Hell, and wherever you get placed, you can climb out of with enough games. Whether it's easy or not, that's a completely different discussion. We'll talk about that in a few. But it can definitely happen. There are definitely cases where people have lost a ton of games in their first few games and dropped out of like 400, 500 MMR of where they were before and got hard stuck. Happened to me almost every season. I eventually climb out. I've had plenty of times where I've climbed out of like 1800 and got back to 2600 because of what happened in the first few like 20, 30 games in variants. It happens. It happens to us all. If it happens to you, don't get too frustrated. You can climb out. It's just going to take exponentially more games to climb out than it will to get stuck down there. Don't lose faith. You can definitely still win. But yeah, so take your first few games a little more seriously than you would your later games because they are very important. But what this system doesn't tell you, what other people don't tell you, is that the variant system drops based on games played, not wins and losses, and depending on how much MMR you get. All right, so if you get into a game and the game crashes for a bad state, you will lose variance for it. If you get into a game and someone DCs on the enemy team and they have 6 before 10 minutes, right? They have 6 at 5 minutes, and nobody gets TP or loses TP and MMR, but the person who basically left the game, everybody loses variance. Again, it's better than someone losing randomly like 80 MMR and TP because of this person being a scumbag. But yes, your variance will still drop. If you play a game to an end and you win and the game doesn't award anyone TP or MMR because the game was in a bad state, your variance will still drop. That is how the system works. So if you want my honest advice, do not play ranked at the beginning of the season. It is not worth it. There's going to be problems with the servers. There always is. There's going to be people trolling. There always is. There's going to be people intentionally AFKing and being mad because there are rush of players that are playing in the beginning of the season. I would highly suggest against playing on the first week or even second week of ranked. You're better off waiting a couple weeks till the brackets get a little more situated and you get to play against people around the level of where your bracket is, rather than the rush of dealing with maybe someone who's a smurf playing against someone who won their first 3 ranked games and is now playing against Grandmasters players while he's like a gold bracket. You can avoid most of that by just waiting. If you want my advice, wait. You will have a better experience. But for us who stream, we don't really have an option. We got to go through the trenches, so you don't have to. So enjoy watching our suffering. Also, just to clarify, I'm not saying this to make everybody angry and up in arms. I'm saying this just to let you guys know the situation. I personally don't know a viable solution outside of getting rid of variants to fix these issues. I just don't see it. Any kind of solution that I've come up with either has a possibility of someone abusing said system via win trading, etc., that can positively affect some people and negatively affect a whole group of other people. So what Hyra has tried to do is try to reduce the amount of negative effects by also reducing the positive effects to make the people who are losing out on things feel a little bit better You know what I mean? It's kind of just something we kind of have to deal with. There's no real right or wrong. Everything comes with pros and cons, and this is just one of the cons, right? It's just how it is. That's just the nature of the game. So I promise this video isn't going to all be about variants. We're going to move on from it eventually. Now, I understand that this system is beneficial to casual players who don't have a lot of time to play ranked games, who only may have 50 games worth of time over the course of 3 or 4 months, right? Maybe that's just what their time allows. And that's cool that they have a system for them, but I feel like it hurts everything else in ranked. Ranked is supposed to be a place for the sweaty tryhards to get in and grind out their rank. Ranks are supposed to mean something. With the current variant system, it kind of devalues the division system. Nobody really cares about MMR or about what division they're in because it's so easy to get. You don't lose it. You never have to re-grind it. It's just the soft reset happens. You go back to 2557 and then you just grind out the last 500. What's happening is that people in the higher MMR brackets are bored. They're creating smurfs. They're trolling in rank games because they don't care. Masters doesn't really mean anything anymore, especially because you can't get demoted. Nobody really cares. So they either log on to Smurfs or they troll. It's off-putting. And it's weird because this is supposed to be the game mode that's dedicated to the tryhards, to the sweaty neckbeards who want to literally play 300 games over the course of 3 months because that's what they want to do. It's supposed to be made for them, but it's not. It's just a bit off-putting. It's also creating a situation where people are overvaluing their first games. Their first games are having people more angry than more normal or more happy than normal. It's creating ridiculous highs and lows. But just like it provides an opportunity for casual players to potentially get to their division easier, it also provides a situation of maybe they might go ahead and get boosted or fall way lower. It's very possible to play your first 10 or 20 rank games and end up 500 MMR lower or above than you were before. This idea that the soft reset allows for a breakout of where you were stuck means that you're not stuck because you can't move forward. You're stuck because that's kind of where you belong. The way a matchmaking system is supposed to work is as you get better, you can start winning. If you are stuck, that means your skill is stagnant. That's a sign for you to say, hey, what I'm doing isn't making me go forward. Maybe I need to change things up. And when you are dropping, that's another sign to say, hey, what I'm doing is hurting me. Maybe I need to change things up. Or when I'm winning, I can say, hey, I'm improving. Awesome. That's not what the system is doing. The system is providing an arbitrary way every few months to randomly move up or lower on the division or MMR bracket. And it's just off-putting. It doesn't make much sense to me. Why is it when I'm theoretically less skilled, which at the beginning of the season, right? Why are my games worth more then than arguably 2 months down the line when I should have improved and become better than I was before? Because just from playing, I'm supposed to get better, right? That's the goal. My games are worth less. This is creating the narrative that the time that we're supposed to increase or decrease is only during the beginning, during variants. I don't know, it kind of demotivates me. Because the only games I'm supposed to care about are my variants games. I get that feeling from people who talk about variants on Twitter, Reddit, and in my stream. It's not a nice feeling. I'm sure it feels great for the people who don't play a lot or want to play on 17 different Smurfs, but for the rest of us, it's kind of boring. I don't know how else to say it. Now, I'm not naive enough to not understand the fact that the casuals pay the bills. Most of the money of the game comes from casuals. I get it. but they have every other game mode. I thought ranked was supposed to be ours. That's just how I feel on that topic. And I just want to point out that I understand that variance is very aggressive with how it places you. And I also want to point out that not everything is bad matchmaking, right? So, for example, this game right here is not bad matchmaking. The matchmaking is set to have a certain gap between the top MMR player and the lower MMR player. And even though this person is in gold, he is in 2084 MMR and actually higher MMR than some of the players in the game. Unfortunately, he has a lot less games played this season, so he may very well be boosted. This isn't the matchmaking's fault. This is the variance's fault. He clearly didn't perform as well in that game because he wasn't as skilled, and it's not his fault. It's just the way the variance system works. So when you complain about these things, do not talk about matchmaking. Terrible. That's not what actually happened. The matchmaking kind of worked in this scenario. It's just an unfortunate side effect of variance. On the other end of the spectrum, what we like to call rainbow games, when you have people all the way in bronze and 1500 MMR, and you have someone in the game that has 2700 MMR, this isn't supposed to happen. And from what I understand, from what I read, is that this is a bug and they are aware of it and they are trying to fix it if it hasn't been fixed already. I haven't experienced one of those games in around a week or so. I had to go to my 4th or 5th page on Smite Guru to find that game, so it might have been fixed already. I haven't seen it. I'm not going to claim it's still happening when it's not happening, but from what I understand, these games are a bug and you probably don't have to worry about them as much anymore. Cool, awesome. That's all we needed. So when I talk about rainbow games, that's what I mean. It's when you have everything from bronze all the way to masters in the same game. I call them rainbow because of different colors for the medals. Let me have this, okay? Okay. Yeah. So let's say you get into the worst possible scenario. The worst scenario. You lost tons of games. Regardless of what it is, I don't care. I don't care if it was levers. I don't care if you just had bad games. I don't care if you had bad teammates. Whatever it may be, you lost 600, 700 MMR. You're way lower than you were last season, and that sucks. But you can still climb back up and get to the division that you belong in. When there wasn't variance, we just climbed from Bronze 5 to Masters in one season. That's just what we did. We played all those games, and we climbed up. That's how it worked. Now, the variance system in the game, you just got screwed over by variance, but you can still climb back up. So the way matchmaking is supposed to work is you are supposed to go into a system and you play. And the moment you get to a point of playing against people equal to your skill level, your win ratio gets closer and closer to 50%. If you are stuck in this bracket, regardless of what you do, since you're playing against people around your skill level, you're going to get closer and closer and closer to 50%. That's not what you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get stuck, realize you're stuck, and then go, maybe what's wrong is me and I need to do things differently and improve. All of a sudden you make those few changes and you start winning a little bit. But also when you make those changes, the opposite can happen. You can start losing a little bit and just be like, oh, damn. But when you're losing and when you're stagnant, that is your warning sign. That's your error message that says, hey, maybe what you're doing isn't the best. Maybe you need to change it up or improve in some way. That's what that means. It doesn't mean you're a terrible player. It doesn't mean you're garbage. It just means that you have hit your current cap. It's time to break that limit like you guys see in all the animes, dude. Time to get better. That's what the matchmaking system is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be an overall 50% win ratio. It's supposed to be, hey, oh damn, I hit my cap. Time to go up. You know what I mean? And then you start winning more. All of a sudden your win ratio jumps up past 50%. And then you get stuck again. And then you gotta sit down with yourself and say, man, maybe I need to improve again. Maybe I didn't improve enough and I gotta change things up. And you know what? It might work and it might go down and you might have to figure out something else to do. This is all part of the matchmaking system and getting better. This is why I dislike the whole idea of having to wait every 3 or 4 months for the reset to break out, because there's nothing to break out of. The only thing that's keeping you there is you. And I also want to remove the stigma that there's nothing wrong with being in platinum. There's nothing wrong with being stuck in diamond. There's nothing wrong with being stuck in gold. That's just your skill level. If you go to the gym, if you're trying to lose weight, if you're working on just self-improvement, everyone will always tell you focus on yourself. Do not focus on everyone else. If I were to go to the gym, I'm not trying to compare myself to El Leon. I know he works out 7 days a week. I'm not trying to do what he does. I'm working on myself and just working on my gains. You know, if I lost 10, 20 pounds, it'd feel great for me. It wouldn't be the same for him. It's all on you, and it is okay to be there. If you're really worried about where you are in the divisions and the matchmaking, etc., then the only thing that you can do wrong is stay stagnant. And the idea that you need a system to boost you up, to break you out, is literally just training wheels. That's all it is. It's your father or your mom picking you up and helping you get that stuff off the shelf. That's all it is. That's why we don't like matchmaking. It feels bad. It doesn't cater to the people who want the competitive game mode. That's just how I see it. I'm going to also go into some other things that's going to blow your mind. And we're going to go into that in a second. All right, so there's another thing that might hinder your progression through either the division or the matchmaking system, right? So there is a correlation between your MMR and your division. And what is related to is the average MMR for the players in that division. So if your MMR is lower than your current division, what the game will do is it will give you less TP and more MMR per win. And the reason it does this is to try to get your MMR closer to whatever division you're in, to try and matchmake you into games that are more equal to your skill level. That's what it's attempting to do. This happens the opposite way too. If your MMR is higher than your division, the game will give you more TP in a win and less MMR to try to close the gap as much as possible. Unfortunately, in a lot of situations, they don't really gain in the same way, so you often fall into this situation. This happened to us early this year, and thankful for Kabam and Words helped me get past that situation. We were getting 10 MMR per win and losing 30. We somehow still made it to Masters with Diamond 3 MMR or something. Back then that was 2300. This changes as more people play and more people rank up and stuff like that. You can find this information out by literally just going into the play section right here, right? You see this? You go onto it, you go to ranked, you see your little icon here. You click on the split 6 and it'll show you the average of MMR per division. So you'll be able to get there's also a way that you can see where your little your division icon is either surrounded in red or surrounded in a green outline, and that'll show you whether your MMR is above or below. That will happen, and that's the explanation for what's happening in that scenario. If you're just confused, pay attention to that. Don't worry about it. It will happen. It is going to affect your matchmaking, but it's attempting to pretty much get you to where you belong. You know what I mean? It's trying to get you there faster. The only problem that really comes out of this, it feels really bad when you're trying to grind to Masters and you know your MMR is just going up way slower than your TP, and it just feels really bad. That's about the only scenario that I've experienced that like really feels bad. And you kind of see it more because of variance, but yeah, there's no real way around it. I just wanted to explain this to you guys, so you guys, if you do get into that situation, you guys know what's happening. Damn, y'all still watching? Y'all crazy. Thank y'all very much for enjoying and watching the video. Yeah, basically I tried to put as much information in this video as I could. Sorry it's so long. I tried to answer all the questions I get on stream about ranked, on videos, whatever. If I missed anything, feel free to leave it in the comments or on Twitch or on Twitter, wherever you see me. It doesn't matter. I have no problem answering. But the too long didn't read of this video is I actually believe the matchmaking is fine. The matchmaking itself, that is matching you with other players, is working fine. My problem came more from the Rainbow games, which was confirmed as a bug and not intentional. And if that's a bug, fine. If they know what it is and they're going to fix it in the future, I have really no complaints. That's kind of just happens in games. Now, my issue for the rank system are the systems that fuel into the matchmaking and actually affect it in negative ways. For example, the variant system. It removes the prestige of hitting certain divisions in ranked. It removes the prestige of hitting a certain MMR because it's too easy to get there with the variant system. It also creates a higher possibility of someone dropping way below where they normally belong or go way above where they normally belong. It also creates a disvalue of self-worth, and you start thinking that you belong in Masters because you hit that one time. It's not really how it works. You kind of have to earn it, but it is what it is. These are the systems I don't like. These are what I'm complaining about when I'm talking about ranked. Not the matchmaking itself, and I understand a lot of people confuse this with the matchmaking, and it can cause a lot of confusion, but generally this year, I feel like Hi-Rez did a very good job with their matchmaking in ranked, besides the obvious concepts that we could talk about, right? So let's put our attention more towards what's actually wrong and what the other pro players and the other high MMR players are complaining about, which is 9 times out of 10, where's their grind? What do they have to strive for, right? There's no other divisions. Where's the prestige in hitting Grandmasters or Masters anymore? Where is that? Everybody can do it. This idea of breakout every 3 months just doesn't make sense for a rank system. It's weird to me. I don't know. Tell me how you guys feel. Let me know. I would love to read it. You guys have a good one. Deuces.